Now we're going to look at how we can do density problems. Density problems are just a simple conversion problem. You may have learned how to use density using the formula density equals mass over volume, and then using algebra. That actually is a hard way and prone to mistakes. It's much easier just to focus on the units. Let's look. First of all, density determines the behavior of things. Low density things float, high density things sink. If you have your density in the same units, the number associated with those units tell you which one will float and which one will sink. The lower number floats, the higher number sinks. So cork has a lower density than water. Cork is like 0.7 maybe grams per milliliter. Water is 1 gram per milliliter. Brass is a metal. It's probably around 4 or 5 grams per milliliter. And mercury is all the way up at 13 grams per milliliter. Density is equal to mass over volume. So you would put your number with a unit over the volume with a unit, and that would give you a density. The density is based on the metric system is based on water's density, and water's density is defined as exactly 1 gram per milliliter at 4 degrees Celsius. It changes slightly as temperature changes. I expect you to know that the density of water is 1 gram per milliliter. There is something called specific gravity, and you'll see these in lab reports. It is a unitless way to express density. Specific gravity is just the density divided by the density of water. Well, the density of water is 1 gram per milliliter. So when you look at your specific gravity, all you have to do is put grams per milliliter on the end of it, and you've got the density. All you have to do is take the units off it, and you've got the specific gravity. Take units off density, and you've got specific gravity. It's that simple. Density can be used as a conversion factor. The density of ethanol is 0.79 grams per milliliter. So that gives us, using 0.79 grams per milliliter. We can flip it. Remember, we can flip any conversion factor. It is saying that if you have 1 milliliter, it is 0.79 grams. So that's an equivalency, and we can make that conversion factor there that way. So if I have 22 grams of ethanol, I can take the density, orient it so that grams cancel, and that gives me the volume. It's a very simple way to do it. If I have given milliliters, all I have to do is multiply it by the density so that milliliter is in the denominator, and we get the number of grams. If we're looking at problems, what we always do is not start with density, but start with the other measurement given. Keep that in mind. So if I look at this problem, it says, what is the volume of a chunk of lithium metal that has a mass of 43.5 grams? The density is 0.53 grams per centimeter cubed. Remember, a centimeter cubed is the same thing as a milliliter. So we always start with the measurement that is not density. So we're going to start with 43.5. Pause the lecture and do this problem, and then I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so we start with 43.5, and we're going to orient the density so that grams cancel and we go to a volume. Okay, now we're going to take this number, 0.53. What is it with? What unit? It's with gram. So that's where it must go in the fraction, 0.53 grams. Now we multiply through and you see grams cancel, and we end up getting 82 centimeters cubed. You could write 82 milliliters, that would be fine.